So, and I woke up at like 3:30 to get today for no apparent
Well,
reason.
congratulations.
I know, like, it beats the usual 6:30, I guess, but I got here. I felt great, and then I just crashed.
Yeah.
And so I took the benefits of having therapy offices. You can just take a nap
Yeah.
on the couch.
Well, I actually don't like to lay down when I take a nap. If I lay down, I'm taking a nap, I'll get a headache.
Really?
So I always nap sitting up. I'll maybe recline a little bit, but yeah, I don't like to lay down.
Have you ever had that checked out? I mean, what about sleep? Like, do you wake up in the mornings with a headache?
No, I'm fine, just naps.
That's so weird.
Sometimes I wake up with a headache. Usually that's using too firm of a pillow. It's like a soft pillow. So, and with bad neck and everything,
How'd you get
um,
that?
wrestling, football, I mean, whatever, high school.
So you had wrestling, because we don't have that
Yeah,
around here. Where'd
yeah.
you grow up?
Pennsylvania, North Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So Pennsylvania, wrestling is very big in Pennsylvania. So, my grandpa wrestled. He was actually third in state, which is pretty good out there. And my dad wrestled, and all of us sons wrestled. So,
How many brothers do you have?
two brothers, older, and the youngest one's.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is there do you notice a pattern like, I get told, like, it's obvious I'm the third child of the family, like I'm the youngest. I don't know if you recognize patterns like that. Like, I guess an example would be like, I need to tell my mom something, and so, like, I'll call her at 9:30 at night. I'll wake her up if she's asleep because I'll tell her, because I got to tell her something.
Okay.
But, like, apparently, like, that's a youngest child thing. Like, everybody else is like, no, they're probably asleep. I'm just gonna let them rest.
I mean, I don't know. I don't do a lot about, looking into, well, what's the stereotypes of this person versus that person.
Birth order.
Yeah. Even, different personalities. I don't know. I tend to, with almost everything, I just take life as it comes at me and just roll with the punches.
Yeah.
So
I would make the argument that that's a middle child mentality.
Yeah. Well, I am second.
Yeah.
Out of four. So
Okay.
I have a sister after me.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
And so she's not the youngest. She's
Correct.
the second youngest, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. It's been a long day, man.
Yeah, I understand.
So, but yeah, I wanted to talk to you because one, I enjoy talking to you, but two, I wanted to hear kind of like about your missionary work and like what you do and what you feel like you're kind of called to do. I know you work at APACE right now, but you don't feel like that's kind of like, in your mind, would you say that's not your like, maybe God has a purpose in you being there, but that's not your overall purpose? Is it kind of like a placeholder of sorts, or like, what do you feel like your purpose is right now?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say APACE is a placeholder. I'm very happy to be able to have a job right there, because most of the gentlemen here, if they're not at the school or the hospital, they're on the road.
Yeah.
And so APACE allows me to be home every night, and I enjoy being home with my family. So I do enjoy working at APACE. Yeah, I could do something and make more money, but I'd be gone. And so
But would you say that like you're like the mission field? Because that was kind of what I thought.
Right.
And I could be wrong. I just thought the mission field was kind of like your purpose.
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes way back to my younger childhood years, but God's made all of us for a purpose that we need to work to fulfill. And for me, it was being more, what's the word? more purposeful
Mm-hmm.
on being on mission than your standard person.
Yeah.
I definitely gave my life to God for missions when I was like 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and for almost 17 years we traveled the world, various states in the United States, doing different jobs. Coming here to Tompkinsville, it was a search for a long time to find the community. Uh, God led us here. I don't think God does things by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And on coming here, um, I missed one step in there, but we decided to resign from mission work because all of our parents were getting older. And so one of my main purposes now is to take care of both sets of aging parents.
Sure.
Because the others in our families aren't able to do that. Somebody needs to.
Yeah.
So that has partly overridden some of the other mission stuff. But now that I'm here, slowly getting more settled in, I think we've been here 5 years now. So it's slowly getting settled in.
Yeah.
That's long, I guess.
How long?
But
I don't mean to interrupt you, but how long have you known Dad? Like, did y'all just start going to First Baptist right off the bat, or was it kind of a journey?
I didn't at first, partly because working on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't home for my first almost year and a half working here. Living here, sorry.
Sure.
I was on the road working, and so never really settled down to where I could find a church family. But now that we are getting more settled in and more of a routine, we have their church family, but I still feel that I have a mission that
Mm-hmm.
I need to do to be more purposeful
Yeah.
in reaching out. And so,
yeah,
that's what we're working towards now.
Yeah. I think what I've noticed in myself, which I can't remember if I've talked to you about this or not, but it's kind of like, I've always had the understanding like that my Christian, whether you say my Christian identity or should be first and foremost, but it's like there's a shift in me to where like I'm actually like living that out, like everything else is becoming secondary to that. Does that make sense? Like I don't look at it as being a therapist who is a Christian. I look at it as being a Christian who is also a therapist. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of, at least in my mind, that alleviates the, like, yes, we have a specific purpose. But like what I was getting at about A-Pace was like, God may have you there specifically at A-Pace for a specific purpose.
Yep.
Or it could be that God has you at A-Pace because you need a job and that's the best one that works. But you just get to be a Christian that works at A-Pace. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, but that was where I was coming from with that question.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because how you said it was you're becoming more a Christian that is a counselor versus the other way around. It's so easy for us guys especially to always be dominated work first. And we find a lot of satisfaction in that. But I think I found in my personal life that there's nothing that for me seems to be just easy. It's always a roller coaster, right? So there are times in my life where, definitely I feel like I'm following what God wants me to do. And then there's times I feel like I'm chasing my own thing.
Sure.
And it's up and down all the time. And you hope that it's trending in the upward direction. But sometimes we just don't see the big picture.
No, I know.
So we're just trying to get through the best we can.
I've heard it kind of laid out if our life is a scroll, God knows what's on the scroll, but it just, for us, it's getting revealed little by little. But I still can't, and I'm like too analytical for my own good sometimes, and I still can't figure out like how God balances me when I am like completely oriented towards him, and then those times where I'm more pursuing what Ben wants, and like how he's still able to make that part of his overall will being fulfilled.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where he's God and I'm not.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know. Like it just, because sometimes I worry. God's always in control, but sometimes I worry, like, what happens if I get too deviated? You know, does that mean I'm automatically now outside of his will? Or is it that God uses, you know, he uses us in spite of, or just despite? I never know the difference between in spite or despite. But I think you know what I'm saying. I don't know if he uses us in spite of our own selfish motivations and stuff like that, or what. Like, I know he does. I just don't know how he does it, you know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how he does it either, but it comes down to, and well, first, I know we've talked about it before in Philippians 1 where, you know, Paul flat out says that God uses even the bad people to further his kingdom. But
it was those that were preaching like with selfish out of like a selfish ambition.
Right.
Some people were preaching specifically trying to, like, I guess, get at or humiliate Paul in some way, shape, or form. But Paul was like able to recognize that, well, even if they're doing it for that reason, God still can use.
Yeah. And that speaks to most, I think most of that question. But, and I know just, we'll go back a little background on that again, because in 8th grade and again in 12th grade, you know, you vote for all your, who's the best in your classes and stuff. Well, I was class angel in both 8th grade and 12th grade.
We don't have that around here.
You don't have angels here?
No.
Well, I graduated in 92. So
unless you're being, you know, you're being legitimate in that y'all had a class angel.
It's in the yearbook and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't have that around here.
So, I grew up in, you know, in a situation in a small community where following the rules and being perfect was very highly encouraged and thought of. And the older I get, the more I realize that the difference between following the letter of the law and following the spirit of the law, which Jesus forever preached against the Pharisees, even though to everybody looking on, they were perfect. But he said that their hearts were very far from him. So, you know, even in my 20s, start hitting my 30s, I didn't even barely think, okay, that I was a sinner. Barely. I mean, I knew I was a sinner, but I barely really thought I was a sinner, probably until my young 30s.
Yeah.
And then I start realizing, you get older, a little more mature, that more and more that, no, I'm just as bad as anybody else.
Same.
Most of it's in my head, you know, and just because it's in your head doesn't make it any better than the people that let it out, you know. So I just learned, and that's, you know, the heart of following the rules and legalism is you learn to control what other people see.
Yes.
But when nobody's looking, what are you doing? What are you thinking?
Yeah. That was an issue that I have around here growing up too, was this understanding of, well, I thought because I, on the outside, like, conducted myself a certain way, to the public eye, I guess you could say, that meant that I was doing what I was supposed to do. And that's not the case. Like, cause I still had the internal struggle and the things behind, like, you know, closed doors or by yourself or, with friends that you know, uh, maybe just people just didn't understand what you all were getting into, that kind of thing. But to the public eye, that 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 transition into being into not just obeying outwardly, but becoming that person internally.
Yeah.
That is where I'm at right now. And I think that process has been ongoing since the day I gave my life to Jesus, but like there's a realization of that now, especially after having the life experiences that I've had and then moving back into this community that, well, one, I'm very thankful for the church family that I do have because they recognize the difficulties of life and our ability to just flat out fail at times. Whereas I feel like there's other church communities or whatever that would essentially shun you.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Matter of fact, now I have sang in church a few times from time to time, but there's one song I can't find a soundtrack for it. But Steve Green is my favorite singer from growing up, and he has a song called "Wounded Soldier," and that's what it's all about. It's you got people that are out fighting for Christ, and they mess up or they fall or they just get tired and they can't do it anymore, and the church wants to condemn them or shun them or not come alongside and help. But we're weak. We're people. We need each other. And without support, how can we recover from our mistakes? How can we keep going when taking that next step is just so hard?
Right.
And it's a very powerful song.
Yeah. And because it's in, I guess, 2 Corinthians where Paul talks about handing someone over to Satan. But it was essentially, it wasn't just because they had sinned. My understanding of it is they had sinned and they were unrepentant of it, or they weren't trying to turn things around. And that's when it was like, okay, well, you need to remove this person from the church. Is that your understanding of it?
Yeah, there's definitely the unrepentant sin. It gets difficult because I know he very specifically calls out like the one sin, and he might talk something in 2 Corinthians, by I believe 1 Corinthians 5. He talks about it's very specifically how a son is basically now sleeping with his own stepmother.
Yeah.
And he very specifically calls out this specific sin and say, how can you let something like this in your midst?
Right.
So, whereas on one hand, there is all sin separates from God. All sin is bad. And we as Christians, as a church in general, have really tended to categorize sins as, these are the sins that are acceptable. And you get down here and these are the sins. I mean, we can't have any fellowship with you at all.
Right.
I mean, so we really have this hierarchical view of sin. And I think there's a little bit of that with Paul calling that out, but also, I don't know if it's Paul or if it's more in the Gospels, but where sexual sins are specifically called out as being a sin against your own body.
Yeah. It's that it is I think it's worded that it's the only sin that's against your own body.
And the way it's worded, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but it does seem to be, it's going to affect you more than other sins.
Absolutely. Well, and I think, and this is where I like psychology, because I think psychology is one of the few sciences that, at least I don't know now, but I know at least in the past, it was all about not blending, but defining the unseen and how it connects to the seen. And And so, like, when it comes to, um, sexual sins and things like that, like, um, your brain essentially can be addicted to this person that you have, or you've slept around so much that you can't connect to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like, and so and so I think like that's interesting. I think that's why it's probably one of the reasons why it's highlighted as. I don't think it's just arbitrarily highlighted. Is what I'm saying. I think there's tangible reasons as to why that's highlighted. But what I was getting at was like, with the whole being shunned thing, like, is, to me, there's a difference between somebody that's like, I messed up, like, I did wrong, I want to turn this around, I want, like, why in the world would we be like, nope,
For sure.
you're done. Now, maybe you can't hold certain roles in the church or something like that, but as a Christian, as a brother or sister in Christ, like, why in the world would we turn someone away? I mean, do you share that, or do you do you push
No.
back on that at all, or?
No, and that was kind of like what I was saying about that song, is that we should be always seeking to restore and to fellowship with other people, especially those in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, too often we are quick just to say that we're better than them, or we can do it without them, and we can't do it without anybody, realistically speaking. So, you cut your finger off, we'll go back to the body of Christ, that Paul talks about. You cut your finger off because your finger was bad or something, or you just lose it in an accident. And then if it was real life, you'd grab that finger, you'd stick it on ice, you take it back to the doctor, and they can probably reattach it.
Sure.
And that's what we should be seeking to do as a church.
Yeah. And that analogy actually reminds me, and I mentioned this guy before, his name is Josh Howerton, and I'm not promoting or not promoting him. I'm not promoting it, like, either way. If you either like him or you don't, I don't really care. But he talks about how, because when Jesus talks about, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off, or if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out, or whatever. But he talks about it's either like right before that or right after that. Jesus is talking about how he uses lust in this example. If you lust with your heart, then you've already committed adultery.
Right.
And so, you can't. It's not about cutting off your right hand. It's not about pulling out your eye. There's always going to be some way, shape, or form that we misuse ourselves, and that he talks about in Ezekiel how he'll remove our heart of stone and replace it with a heart of flesh. And he's like, and he was tying kind of those two things together. Like, it's not actually like, yes, you should resist, you should at least at times take extreme measures to avoid sin, but it's not about actually cutting off your hand. It's not actually about it's like, if you can sin with your heart, you can't cut that out. Only he can do that. And I always thought that was actually like a really cool way of tying those two concepts together.
And I don't know what direction this whole thing's going.
We're just talking.
But it got me thinking a little bit just about the armor of God. And I'm not saying I'm some great pastor or nothing, but I did preach a sermon once talking about very specifically about the shield of faith, and how you use the shield of faith to extinguish the fiery darts, the temptations of the evil one. And I was just doing some different looking. If you go back into, I think it's Luke and Mark, they have the story of when Jesus sent the disciples out 2 by 2, and they were supposed to preach and cast out demons and all that stuff. Well, in one account, it said that when they came back, they told Jesus they couldn't cast these demons out. He said, well, you couldn't cast them out because you didn't have enough faith.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the other account, Jesus said, well, you couldn't cast them out basically because you don't pray enough.
Yeah, pray and
So
fast.
there is a direct link between prayer and faith.
Yes.
And so if you're wanting to fight temptations and, not fall into that, we need to have a heart of prayer and that conversation with God there. So, yeah.
But yeah, my pastor and I actually talked about the passage where he mentioned prayer. This one only comes. These can only be cast out with much prayer and fasting.
Right.
And I've been practicing fasting more here recently because there's certain things that I am just working through on my own. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like some of it is. It's not like directly like I'm trying to eliminate this sin from my life. It's kind of like I want to have my heart oriented properly towards God when it comes to this specific like situation and stuff like that. And what I realized the first time I did the fast and I told him was that I felt like I went into it feeling like, okay, I'm going to fast because I'm seeking maybe like a certain either outcome or resolution to whatever the situation is. And there are times when people specifically did fast for those things. Sometimes God answered in the affirmative and sometimes it didn't, sometimes it was just, God said no. But what I realized during that was like, it made me like really, I don't know what it was about the process, but it made me very aware of my own motivations and things like that. And so it kind of went from seeking resolution to now when I'm fasting, I'm not seeking, to a degree I still am, but it's more about making sure that my heart and mind are in alignment with God as I navigate this situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, like there's still, but like I know too, like just because I fast, I could do a 40-day. I'm not saying I would do this, but I could do like a 40-day fast, but that doesn't and like crush it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm going to get this outcome that I'm looking for.
Right.
And so if that's the case, why am I fasting? Well, at least I can examine my motivations. At least I can examine what part of my thought process is in the way versus like a specific desire or like, is this motivation selfish or is this a biblical motivation? And the more I practice fasting, the more aware of that I become. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like I said the same thing like 30 different ways, but I just trying to get my point across.
I'm gonna say I've never been very good at fasting.
I'm not either.
So that's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, my most recent one, actually I started it yesterday and I was like, you know what? It's like I'm going to do this fast until God says that I need to stop or there's resolution. And it's like, how am I supposed to be the authority?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because my stomach real quick gets to be like, hey, I think it's time to call the fast. And so it's more like being more manageable. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to do one meal a day for today, tomorrow, and the next day. And just see, instead of doing a 24-hour fast, see how I can, like, sustaining that, like, if I make progress and reaching some kind of like clarity and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of a fasting tangent. But it goes going back to, with the prayer and fasting, they had little faith. They weren't, my understanding, they weren't in alignment with God to the degree that they needed to be to cast out something to that level.
But isn't that the way it just seems like our lives always are? I mean, when Jesus says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you could move this mountain over there. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, we're not aligned with God. I can't move this mountain. And obviously, it's hard for our minds to fathom what's that boundary? How come I can't do this? Or Peter walked on water.
Right.
But, he sank awfully darn quick.
Yeah.
But we all have those moments in our life too. And I think where we would like to think that we're always perfect, or we want to be perfect, the reality of it is, like we've said, I think so many times already today, that we're just bad at being good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're bad at following God's will.
Yeah.
And I think we need to keep that in perspective, and one, forgive each other, help each other be reconciled. It's when we stick to ourselves and we don't confess our sins to each other, that is when Satan can really grab a hold of our lives and change us to be against God.
Yeah.
So,
well, is it a root of bitterness? Don't let a root of bitterness spring up. What is that passage?
I know what you're talking about, but
I think it's in Timothy or Titus 1. First or 2 Timothy or Titus 1, but he's talking. But not to do that, because, you give Satan an inch, he'll take you a mile.
Yeah.
But the forgiving and stuff like that. So, I was going to ask how that plays out, like, in your life, but I know that like, where most people would have to practice that the most would probably be like in their marriage. But before and I'm not even going to ask you to talk about necessarily that, but I want to talk about how you met Coco.
Okay. Well, I will really quick.
Yeah.
Just touch on one thing. I was counseled once by one pastor that I was talking to, that I should not share some of my struggles with my wife.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not asking you to do that at all.
I'm saying I have come to believe that is not correct.
Okay.
I think you should share some of your struggles with your wife. And maybe it depends on your wife, but that is the closest person you have to you.
Yeah.
And, thankfully for me, my wife's amazing, and, and she can help me through my life. And that's why God put her there, is to be a helper. She is the best person in my life, and to not share some things with her, it's harder.
Sure.
I think it's much harder on our relationship than being open.
Absolutely.
So, how did I meet Coco? Well, when I was younger and much better looking. No.
Yeah. Younger, at least.
Yeah. We're going there. When growing up in our house, it's not mandatory, because when you become an adult, you're an adult, you make your own choices. But my whole life, my parents told us that they wanted us to go to at least one semester of Bible college. And I'm not talking university Well, it probably could have done university, I guess. It's not a Christian college, a Bible college.
Right.
So, um, so they always said that, and they actually do this with their grandchildren even, to this day. And there's not many of those left at this age, but the first semester of Bible college, they pay for,
Okay.
you know. So that was always something that was strongly, very, very strongly encouraged. So, and of course, with me at a young age, giving my life to God for missions, that was in my trajectory anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to, upon graduating high school, I went to Ethnos Bible College in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And that's just a 2-year Bible college. All you study is Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're done, you have an associate Bible degree. I don't know their whole curriculum anymore. I don't know that they offer counseling classes or anything. It's pretty much, for the most part, just Bible. Hermeneutics, interpreting the Bible.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what that was.
Yeah, hermeneutics is studying and interpreting the Bible. A little bit of public speaking, preaching. Some stuff like that. Just the things to know your faith and to share your faith.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the whole point of the college, is actually to train missionaries to go overseas. So I did 2 years there from 92 to 94. And then Corinne, she actually came the fall of 94. And I was one of these young men that when I finished, I didn't want to go home because I thought that was, you're an adult now. You don't go home and live with mom and dad.
Yeah.
You got to make your own life. So I had an apartment with a couple of my buddies, and they came the fall of 94 for 2 years. That would have been her sister, and her brother. And her parents were, at that time, missionaries in Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And so they dropped them off and left them there. See you later. Mission work is hard sometimes, especially in relationships with your children.
Absolutely.
But so they went through the first year. Well, you get to the summer break in between. Well, the school would allow you to stay there over the summer and work. They didn't have the money to fly home to Venezuela for the summer to hang out with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 of them stayed at the school. Well, you're talking about a 5-story building with dorms and classrooms and everything in it. It's like a tomb in there.
Yeah.
Very, very boring.
Yeah.
And so one that ended up happening is when they had time off, they would come over to our apartment and watch movies, play games, hang out. We did some canoe trips.
Yeah.
This
was in the 90s.
That would have been the summer of 95.
So when you say play games, that doesn't mean play games like
No, not on computers. No. Yeah, games like Monopoly.
No, man, the old board games.
The good games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The manual labor games.
Yeah.
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 Sorry to throw you off.
No, that's okay.
But she would come over there with her friend or her sister.
So it's mostly just her sister and her.
Yeah.
And then after about a month of that, I was like, man, she's a pretty good girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I started, let's say, chasing her. Would have been the summer of 95. And so I was very persistent, and they got into this routine where we were their break from school. And where I was chasing her, she didn't want anything to do with me.
Oh,
So
man.
it was actually kind of funny. I guess looking back.
So was it like she actually didn't want to have anything to do with you, or like she was just playing hard to get? What do
No,
you
she
think?
didn't like me at all.
Oh my
No,
God.
she didn't like me at all.
That's brutal.
Yeah, she didn't like me at all. But they enjoyed coming to our apartment to hang out, watch movies. So they still came over, even during the school year. They wanted a break, get away from school for the night.
Mhm.
They'd come over, watch movies, whatever. And we still hung out, and I kept chasing after her. And of course, I'd get home from work and I'd call her, and they had a dorm phone. So we didn't have cell phones back then. Remember, this is pre-iPhone.
Yeah, man.
We had the payphone in the hallway in the school is what they had. They had, I think, 2 payphones on each dorm floor that everybody had to share. And so I'd call her and I'd be talking to her, and she'd have stuff to do, right?
Absolutely.
So
just always conveniently busy.
I didn't know this until probably 2-3 years after we were married. But her sister would walk by. She'd say, "Hey, come here, talk to Rob a little bit on the phone."
Oh no!
So they are their voices are exactly alike.
Oh,
so I never know.
Idea.
I still can't tell the difference between them until after about 2 sentences on the phone. Okay. Because they've lived apart for so long, they use vocabulary differently now.
Okay, that makes sense.
The words aren't always the same. So it probably takes me a sentence or two if they were side by side, to know the difference. Anyway, so I don't know, for months I was talking to her sister half the time, and I was talking to her, which was kind of amusing. Yeah. But
so was her sister trying to get you two set up then?
No.
She just pretended to be Coco, or am I being dumb right now?
She was being a good sister, and helping out. So Coco could do some homework. I don't know. Do whatever. Do whatever she had to do.
Okay.
Do her chores.
She actually was busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I liked her. I didn't have any proper sense of, what was important in life.
Yeah.
So, but eventually, I guess, I wore her down, and I should probably be careful about what stories I tell without permission. Anyway,
was there a process that you noticed to where she became more open to you, or was it like a switch got flipped? Like,
I don't know. I think it was more a switch got flipped. I think
she settled.
Yeah.
She had no choice.
Thank you very much, Ben. Yes, that's good. There was nobody better coming along. So
like, I better pick this one.
For those of you that I work with that may end up watching this, you all may know that I'm not the most observant person all the time.
Yeah. So
I don't read people. I don't. Yeah. It just eventually I wore down, and So then I guess it would have been, I think it was actually Easter break in 96. Yeah, that's what it would have been. Whatever a 96 Easter break would have been, spring break, Then she said that, we could date. And then we immediately started planning to go see her parents. Mm-hmm. So I could, talk to her dad and stuff, and they'd get to know me a little bit. So I'm not one that has ever really believed in dating. I'm not much for dating.
Okay.
Definitely along the lines of courtship. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't ever date someone that you wouldn't marry.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I guess for me, it's more, I guess you could say I fell at my own advice, but it's more about, when I say dating, like, for me, the only way I'm really going to get to know someone is to spend time with them. And maybe it is that's just considered courtship. But when I say dating, I mean, that's kind of like, I would never date anybody that I wouldn't marry. But are we going to jive? You know, and I'm not saying anything physical. You have to determine that. That's not what I'm saying. Right. I'm saying, like, just personality wise, are we going to actually jive? And for me, it takes time, because I can't just, I mean, I can know. I don't want to come across like I can't know that somebody is either the one or anything like that. Right. But you need that. Just, I guess it's more erring on the side of caution. Just like, are we actually going to jive or not?
Yeah.
But also in my own mind, I'm like, well, if you're both willing to, like, if I'm willing to work on me, she's willing to work on her, and we're willing to work on ourselves for each other.
Yeah.
That's jiving to me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a long time to figure that out. But I would want to afford myself
Yeah.
the amount of time it takes to do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we started planning right away to go see her parents. I think we flew down in June.
Mm-hmm.
That summer we flew to Venezuela. So that was my, I guess that was my second experience overseas. But spent 2 weeks in Venezuela. Talked to her dad, and we ended up getting married in August of the next year. So it would have been August of '97 was when we were married.
Yeah.
So that's 29 years now.
29 years.
Yep.
Does it feel like 29 years?
No, it doesn't feel. I still think I'm like 30-something years old,
Yeah.
and until I have to do some real work, and then I'm like, man, I'm too old for this.
Yeah.
I'm too old for this.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't know if you've seen, we haven't talked about it, but I recently built a pretty good sized swing set for my backyard.
Oh, okay.
And then I built a swing bed to go on the back porch, the upper deck of my
Okay.
back porch. The swing bed wasn't terribly difficult. When I say difficult, I mean it wasn't terribly exhausting, but the swing set, it's an 8-foot swing set, and I forgot what the measurements are for the legs, but like I was legitimately out there hoisting one leg and bolting it down. Like, that exhausted me to the point when I had it bolted together and I was trying to just raise it and stand it up. I couldn't do it. So I had to have somebody.
Yeah.
I had to have dad
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
and I'm 35, so
Yeah. I mean, you got to work really hard too, and I know you exercise because I see you out, walking, running.
mm-hmm.
You got to work hard to maintain fitness.
Yeah, the best way to get in shape is to just stay in shape.
I was actually probably this goes all over the place, doesn't it?
Yeah, dude.
I was probably in the best shape of my life. The worst shape of my life in my early to mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
You had your first taste of where just life's getting busy, and you let everything slide, and then late 30s I started getting back into shape again and doing interesting things like rucking and
mm-hmm.
all that crazy junk, and I enjoy it.
I like a good ruck, but my back I've got degenerative disc disease, and I'm 90% sure I have a herniated disc that's never been treated. But I'm in the process. The VA likes to take their sweet time and diagnosing and treating things. So I'm in the process of that now. I've got physical therapy, and if that doesn't improve the symptoms, then they'll do the MRI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll know for sure then. So
yeah.
But that it's not good, because sometimes I'll be sitting just like this, then I'll go to stand up and my back will just lock up. I've not done anything.
Yeah.
So it's like there's something not great there.
Well, I just had some X-rays done on my back yesterday.
Who's your doctor?
I think you know him. I went down.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down to Dr. Tony.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What's your opinion on Dr. Tony? Don't worry, he's not going to see this.
He's not going to see this. No, it's not at all.
No.
I mean, he's great.
You think so? That's what I hear, but I don't know if that's because people tell me that, or I think he's awesome.
Yeah. Well, he's your dad.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I think he's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have barely ever go to the doctor anyways. Mm-hmm. So I can't really compare him to many other doctors. But if I tell him I don't want something, he won't give it to me.
Yeah.
He'll listen and try to answer your questions and
Yeah.
so but it's all very quick in business too.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
It is.
You
It
know.
is very nice. What how's the wait time there? Because that used to be a big problem.
That's the wait time there. I waited a little bit yesterday, but it wasn't crazy. I
Yeah.
mean,
Used to people would wait for like hours.
yeah, but it's like that at so many doctors' offices.
Yeah.
You can't control, and that's a hard thing. And you can't control when somebody has an emergency
Yeah.
and they got to come to see you. So, I mean, when I was an idiot and banged myself in the chin with a log and I needed some stitches,
Mm-hmm.
I called him up. He said, "Well, can you be here in 20 minutes?"
Yeah.
I said, I guess I can be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I actually left work and he sewed me up and I went back to work.
Yeah.
So it was great.
I've never seen him say no.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, he's told me no plenty of times. When it comes to patients, I've never seen him say no.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I like the no nonsense aspect of it. And I think your dad was military as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. He
So
was.
I think the military doctors have a lot more of that no nonsense is pretty straightforward and
Mm-hmm.
and I like that. So
Yeah. But I think military doctors can kind of get a bad rap. And for good reason too. But I know for a fact he was not that type of.
yeah.
He was a good.
Yeah.
He was a good doc.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, let's go back to you married Coco in 97.
97.
And so it's 29 years.
Mm-hmm.
And how many children do you have?
We have 2 girls. Brooke is 27 and Jewel is 24.
Okay.
So, yep.
Nice. So did you ever think about being a girl dad or imagine life as being a girl dad? Or is it just, you just, hey, we got 2 kids and they're both girls and we're going to roll with it kind of thing?
Yeah, I think I alluded earlier that I don't get too deep into things. I just take it as it goes. And I didn't really mind too much. I would have liked to have a boy just to train someone else into the wrestling tradition.
Sure.
And the unfortunate thing of the whole thing is, I have 2 girls. My younger brother, the poor guy, he's got 4 girls.
Ooh.
And so my sister, she has 1 girl and 3 boys, but she's my sister, so they're not Tallmans.
Right.
They're somebody else.
Yeah.
And so my older brother, he just has the 2 sons.
Okay.
And so realistically speaking, out of 17 grandkids or whatever, we got 2 boys that carry on the family name.
Yeah.
And they're not mine.
Yeah.
So it kind of would have been nice to have a boy, but I'm not worried about it.
Well, that's kind of like with me and Nick, because Nick is the only one of us that has. Well, he's the only one of us that has a child between me and him. But he's got 1 boy.
Yeah.
So I would like to be able to have a couple boys. Which I can't control that, but I would love to do that. I'd love to.
I don't think I asked God for boys. It's funny, because I heard a joke once that, if you didn't pray to God specifically for a son, God has a sense of humor,
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't really mind.
Yeah.
I have 2 great girls, and they're both extremely gifted, and I love them to death.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't mind being a girl dad. Like, I want a son, at least one.
Yeah.
But if I don't have a son, I don't have a son.
Yeah.
And that's God's will, and I'm going to be okay with it. But I also wouldn't mind being a girl dad, because I enjoy just spoiling and just taking care of, and just I really do. That's something that I wouldn't say has been communicated to me as being off-putting, but it's like I have a knack for unnecessarily going out of my way to make sure that people are taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think that would be great as a girl dad, to just, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what God has in
Yeah.
store.
It's a lot of fun to take care of your daughters, but on the other hand, and they would probably, if you ask them, they would probably strongly agree that I can be very frustrating at times because when they ask me for help with a very specific thing, and I'm thinking, this is like a common everyday task that all adults need to know how to do. This is how you do it. But yeah, Dad, I need you to do it for me. No,
Yeah.
you need to do this. And I maybe say that more than I should,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm not one that necessarily jumps to do stuff for them that they should be able to do.
Sure.
And sometimes that's bad and sometimes it's good.
Well,
So
yeah.
I got to learn the difference of wisdom and knowing the right ones.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference between like enabling enabling to the point you are disabling towards your child,
Right.
and doing something, like there's certain things like I don't think that I would care to do, like walk them, like everybody's got to get over a fear of the dark. Everybody's got to get over that. But like if they're scared and it's a little girl, they ain't got to get over the fear of the dark. I'm gonna go for them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how I am. But if it's a boy, on the other hand,
Oh, really?
I'll walk him. But if he needs something, he will. I'll walk with him.
Yeah.
I'll be there, but I'm gonna teach him how to walk in the dark.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound fair. It's probably not fair, but it's just how it's just. I don't know. Like I don't mind. I guess if I have girls, I want them to be princesses, and if I have a boy, I want them to be strong and
Yeah.
But I don't want them to be princesses to the point that they're just spoiled.
Yeah.
I don't like the word brat, but
I like to spoil my wife, but
Yeah.
my girls, I don't necessarily like to spoil them. So that's somebody else's job to do.
yeah.
So
Hey, that's
I'll
fair.
leave it for them.
That's fair too. I was talking to somebody recently. It's like they had a problem being as independent as they were, and they wanted to be independent, but the person that they're with will just take care of things for them. They're not used to that. But I was pointing out to them, it's like, yeah, you're not used to it, but it's better for you to be in that position than to be someone who doesn't want to be independent and be so overly dependent that you can't take care of. That way you appreciate when somebody actually does step up and do something for you, So it's, there's balance,
Now, I'm going to throw out something
Okay.
a little bit different. So in various times of my life, I've moved in and out with my parents, not because I needed to, but because we chose to for a very specific reason. So when we decided we were going to be missionaries, Corinne and I still had a little bit of car debt from my car that I bought. Mm-hmm. You can't have debt and be a missionary. I mean, we were living on donations. Our first year, we lived on just over $12,000.
Yeah.
In a year, and it was just insane. If I would have had car payments, never would have made it. So we moved in with them. I think for 6 months, I was able to make double, triple payments on the car, get that out of the way. We moved back out into an apartment again. While we were figuring things out. And then after we had a date to go to the mission field, we were going to be doing a lot of traveling, raising support. We got out of the apartment, went back with my parents. We were just in and out, traveling, and talking in churches and stuff. At various points, I moved in with my parents for specific reasons, moved back out. I think that's good. But we're going to hit on this American dream thing a little bit. I'm not a huge fan on rugged individualism. You can't hardly go into a gas station or a hotel that isn't managed by, an Indian family or
Mhm.
something like that. And, part of the reason for that is they work together as a family
Mhm.
to do these things. And economic times being becoming more difficult, uh, having the benefit of working with your family with common goals and being able to share some of the burden has tremendous impacts,
Mhm.
and really helps you to be able to do more. So, you know,
So it's kind of like a positive attribute of those cultures to work as
absolutely.
a family.
I think children moving out and being on their own and never doing anything, you know, not saying they never do anything with their family again, but basically doing everything on their own,
Mhm.
I think that's a mistake now.
Okay.
Um, I've become a big fan of multi-generational living. Of course, we take care of Corinne's parents and my parents now. We don't take care of them. They're both independent, but we basically all, for the most part, live together on the same property.
Yeah.
And they don't pay rent. Neither of them pay rent. Um, but they help in so many ways. And that frees me up to do other things, like buying this building here that we're in. And I wouldn't have been able to do this without their support.
Mhm.
And of course, Brooke is with us as well.
Mhm.
And so we've got 3 generations in one household. And that combining of resources
Mhm.
allows you to do more.
Sure.
And so, Brooke learning the business with the hearing aids. The hope is that when Corinne's ready to retire, Brooke will be able to just take over that business,
Sure.
and she'll be set up, and we can pass that on to her. She'll be so much farther ahead than other people. And then if my youngest daughter moves in, maybe she can take over the real estate side. And not saying that I'm going to grow into some big real estate baron,
Mhm.
but if I can do some investing and I can pass that down to my kids, that just grows, and it gives them a stepping point that they can just
Yeah.
expand with. And I think that's how the other cultures do it. As a family, they buy a gas station. Well, they work the gas station.
Right.
They do everything, and then they say, okay, well, we can buy you this gas station over here, and then part of that family will go over there with their kids, and then they'll run that gas station, and then next thing you know, they own all the gas stations.
Yes.
And I just think it's very economically advantageous. Plus, you should take care of your parents,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
So,
I don't disagree. I just don't know that it's going to always. I think it might be successful in that culture, in those cultures, because of other qualities or characteristics of that culture. So, like an example would be like, uh, you know, like I don't know that if I didn't leave the military or leave to join the military, that I wouldn't still be dependent on my mom and dad because I needed that, and it wasn't their their fault that I was so dependent on them. Um, you can make that argument, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was because I just struggled with independent living skills, and I recognize that, and that's one of the reasons why I went to the military was to learn those independent living skills. Because I it would have basically I wouldn't have grown very much beyond where I was
yeah.
at 24 if I didn't leave and go join the military. And but um, and another, I guess I don't know if you would even call it a benefit of it, but like it would be easy for people to say, well, this guy's dad's a doctor, he's had everything provided for him. He's all this stuff, but it's like, well, I use my GI Bill to like pay for my education. I use my GI Bill to, for my bachelor's, for my master's degree, for, basically like not everything. Like, I'm not saying that if I needed help, I couldn't go to mom and dad.
Yeah.
But there's just a difference between the Ben that learned independent living skills and how to survive on his own versus the Ben that wouldn't have been made to do that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I don't think in my thing, I did kind of lean maybe a little bit towards living together, but I don't think you necessarily have to live together. Although, in some instances it makes sense. But if you can combine your resources, even still, okay, together we're going to do this. And as a parent, I want to pass something to my kids.
Yeah.
And especially 17 years in the mission field, I didn't have much.
Yeah.
And so we're working now to try to do something, but it's just a lot of dedication and commitment. But if you can work together to do it, just pulling your resources, I think is good. Even if it's just time, because we did a lot of the work on this building, we did ourselves, Yeah. So,
yeah. And I think that's good. I think an observation I would share would be it's not even an observation. It's more of a belief based off of observation, is that that is much more functional when those individuals who are coming together in that way are able to be independent but choose to be interdependent.
Right. Correct.
Versus like codependent or just full on dependent.
And that's you actually explained it maybe better than I did.
Yeah.
But it's not codependent. It's interdependent.
Interdependent.
Is that how you said it?
Yeah, it's not codependent, it's interdependent.
So they don't need, none of them need us. But we still rely on each other nonetheless. Right. And it's a wonderful dynamic, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think so as well. We've actually crossed the hour threshold, and I hate to stop us, but I do have to get supper before, because I have a 5 o'clock class that I have to attend. But we covered a lot of different things. That's one thing. That's
rambled a little bit.
It's okay though. Like that's what I like to do, and like just talk about different things, and people at the very least are going to be able to walk away from this knowing that Rob Tallman's a Christian. Rob Tallman spent some time as a missionary. His wife owns Hearing Solutions, which I don't think you may have actually said that specifically.
Did not specifically say that. But we do have open house coming up.
Yes.
The 26th, I think, right?
Yeah, the 26th at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. So
and I got fussed at because I'm recording an episode of my podcast starting at 11, but I'm leaving my office so like people can be in and out, and anyone who's concerned that people aren't going to enjoy the being able to walk in and check out the therapy room and lobby and stuff while I'm in here recording. If you're concerned about that, you can facilitate.
Yeah, just
for me out there.
Peek in the door and ask a question.
Yeah, it's completely fine. But no, it's been awesome talking to you. I would like to do this again and just cover more ground.
Yeah, or even some of the specific, because I think initially we were going to sit down and talk about more specifically about missionary work, and we didn't even really touch on that at all.
No.
And I mean, that could be a whole hour just talking about missionary work.
So we're laying the groundwork. we'll just say this is Rob Tallman part 1.
Rob Tallman part 1.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
there'll be Rob Tallman part 2 where you can,
Yeah.
or we'll dive into missionary work, and I'll wear another obnoxious. Like I said, I went to Goodwill and got a ton
man.
of obnoxious.
Here I'm
shirts.
wearing a brand new shirt just for you, and you know,
Yeah,
I finally found one my size at Sam's Club. That's hard to do.
Yeah, man. I got a shirt that says it says make sure you're wearing your safety helmet, and it's stick figures driving a forklift, but you can tell they're drinking and driving. So
Yeah.
like I love shirts like that.
Yeah.
That are, I don't know. I
right.
love them.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll wrap up for today, and I'll get with you sometime. Could be in the near future, could be in the far future.
Yeah.
We will get Rob Tallman part 2.
Whatever. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah.